can play the Caitlyn as well. We've seen Caitlyn Lux rising in priority, but not always successfully. In fact, Lux is 0-3 so far in round 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And Caitlyn actually has a pretty good win rate, and I think the problem is Caitlyn's winning without Lux, with like Kate Bard, not so much with Lux.
Or Kate Karma, perhaps. They wanted to wait a little bit longer to decide on the AD carry pick. I mean, it does look like Guma's putting a lot of thought into this.
I prefer Jin Karma than Kate Karma, because the thing with Karma is you don't have that instantaneous CC to set up the traps from Caitlyn. Whereas Jin, you hit the Q or the Mantra Q, you can follow up with the root, start setting up the ult, it's just a lot of pressure in the lane. And Katie won't give it looking towards the knocks. I think it really fit that composition, to be honest. They will just go for Xin Zhao instead.
And he's been put on Karma duty, which kind of makes it sound like a punishment or something super easy, but I think it's just a really strong lane with the Jin, which Guma did favor in the situation.
It's definitely a pick where you get to flex your muscles less in comparison to other support picks we have, but obviously... And ideally for HLE, you're looking to have a good amount of pressure here. I think the thing with Bard is that as a range champion, he has a sustain from the shrines and can get a good amount of poke when he's allowed to, but Karma will just easily hit her poke, easily keep you at a distance. And it's hard to set up the stun, especially when Bluffing has the movement speed from the shield to play around with, so... Pretty good matchup for the Karma, and Ju not really able to do anything with the really strong level 1 that Ezreal has as a result.
Yeah. Ever gets level 2 first, but eventually everybody does. We've seen a lot of Syndra into Ryze nowadays. We also did see Vikla have a lot of trouble in this matchup, and then almost pull the game back, and then lose that game. They did go on to win that series, but I think from BDD's Syndra, definitely going to expect a little bit more of what we should expect from this matchup, which should be, you know, the ability to poke a bit more, hopefully force the Ryze out of lane, especially early on, before he gets his Catalyst, before he gets super tanky.
Yeah, I still remember the BDD Scat of the Week where he hit 4 in the top side of the map, which is crazy to happen last year. So, definitely a lot of potential on this pick. I also feel like Syndra has just been putting, as much as we don't think of her as much beyond like a base champion, we have seen games where she's been putting up big numbers in terms of damage, but it's like how much of that is meaningful damage and how much is relevant. And speaking of relevant damage, Zeus is doing a lot of it to Perfect, who's not having a fun time. I think Zeus' mastery of Jace, as you can see, the 6-0 so far, is just, it's so hard to deal with because we've seen teams take Yorick into his Jace and he just crushes the lane, gets solo kills in the matchup. It's such a high burden of execution champion and he's just so consistently good in the pick. So I think for Perfect, surviving the lane is the goal. But right now, that's looking a little tough. Yeah,
hopefully can just stem the bleeding a little bit and not get too far behind. But it's rough when Zeus can just blind Jace in a draft super early on and really just kind of run away with the lane.
I mean, that's the thing with Xante is you just want to... Oh, he's going to play down bot here, but that's a very early portal.
Yeah. Well, they're still going to get the flash.
Yeah, I think...
And the heal.
Everyone was just concerned that if Cuz got in range of him, started stacking the Q, and then you flash, he'll then flash after and just knock you up and you could die. So they still got the flash, it's still rewarded. The point I was making about the Magical Journey is like they threw it down, and then there was a few seconds before they walked through it. So it kind of gave a lot of warning to HLE's bot lane.
Cuz, you go first. I'm definitely following. I gotta take care of something first. You go.
Yeah, I think maybe could have found something more if it'd been a bit later on. But there was actually a ward. I believe this ward, I mean, I assume it was there before, this ward down by the Krugs. So I guess HLE already had the information anyway, and they were just like, let's just make the play happen as quick as possible. I don't remember exactly the route that KT came from, though. I'm not going to get a replay because it wasn't a kill, so unlucky.
Yeah. Doesn't count as meaningful unless there's a number on the scoreboard, which there's not, at least in the kill column. Jiu so far is doing just fine. He's only 2 CS behind. And, you know, even though Effort has been out of the lane a little bit, he was able to farm pretty well under the turret. And even farmed under the lane when Effort was there as well. Looks like he was getting the majority of that CS. So even though Jin Bard can be very oppressive, it's good to see that the Ezreal is still doing okay, especially because they're going to need his DPS in this game.
They certainly are. And big opportunity for Jiwa to step up and establish his place in the roster as well, if you can have a good game here. As we said before, KT really need this win. Keep things as positive for themselves as possible in the Legend group. You see now with the Prio from HLE's bot lane, they are moving towards that scuttle in the river. Do they just turn this into a dragon afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, they're probably going to get level 6 here for Kanavi. There it is. And looks like he did start it up. See a lot of pings on it from the blue team, KT here, but I don't know if they're going to do anything about it. Cuz is heading down to this side, but he's still level 5. But maybe they can set something up with another magical journey. Maybe if they catch someone on HLE, but HANWHA's being smart. They're backing away, not getting caught, moving into the river to maintain control and take the dragon down.
Yeah, good setup there by HLE. And able to get that first dragon is an Infernal, next one is an Ocean. So, still pretty good odds as a strong soul come forward. Jiwa getting some good poke down here and dodges away from that Mantra Q there. Top lane, about a 10 CS lead. I think that's fine. Obviously, we saw Perfect in a bit of a rough spot earlier. And mainly the issue is Zaya starts getting more plates. Christian Overgrowth is there, and an auto will get him, if not that next plate, then pretty close to it. But now is the point where Perfect having level 6 is such a big threat. Obviously, Jace doesn't really get any power increase from level 6 other than like an increase on like the penetration that his cannon form has, and his hammer form gets like resistances. It's not major.
He's actually got Zeus here, but a knockback is available.
Yeah, and Zeus still hasn't had a... Did he manage to hit the Overgrowth? He did manage to get the plate at least, so I don't think so. I
don't believe so.
Perfect doing a good job now of kind of keeping Zeus off his turret. And if he keeps this up, that's completely fine. If you can maintain this in the matchup.
You see Zeka just going back and the itemization choices, just as many ruby crystals and MR as possible before he does go for that catalyst, inevitably. The first Drake was taken here by HLE, and now the Grubs are coming up, so they want to maybe double objective here.
They can get both. They'd be in a really good spot here. They do have everyone with Gumayushi up in this top side of the map, but it seems like KT in a position to match. Kanavi just going to take one and dip away. I think getting the dragon and a grub, you're pretty fine with that. You know, we often see teams trading a dragon for 3 entire grubs, so pretty comfortable. Cuz does not want to waste time here, though. You get the bonus XP from the first grub, and then he's instantly beelining to the bot side of the map for this Scuttle Crab.
This is the amount of action we've had so far, which is pretty surprising. Just trying to go for the Scuttle. That is the binding, the hit, and the scatter. Kanavi taking a huge amount of damage. Stanley's power does come in, and Kanavi just disengages with this flash. And KT, as a team, really wanted to get that Scuttle, and they do.
I was thinking there, you know, they have the Syndra, which really gives you a big advantage when you're playing Scuttle fights. And then BDD just launches at Kanavi, like, fine, have it. And then combos him, and Kanavi has to flash away from that, in a little bit of trouble there. The Jarvan being down flash, pretty nice for that next dragon fight if it does end up being contested. So far in this game, still very close with how things are right now.
Yeah.
Because on the bot side of the map, and we'll spot bluffing.
Yeah, bluffing just going for a walk here. He does have some support from Guma, who is going to lock him down.
What's really unfortunate is Effort just finished his recall there. And if he'd waited just a moment longer, I think bluffing could just end up having to burn flash, if not dying. Because he could have just used that Q over the wall and got the stun.
Q over the wall doesn't really hit. It doesn't slap as hard as flash over the wall.
It doesn't. It's not the same.
Especially when you don't use the Mickey Mouse voice. It's not very interesting. We are having Perfect going for a play here. It doesn't drag him back very far, and the knockback does come in. Still a good trade for Perfect, but it's actually now Kanavi on the top side of the map, looking for some autos. He's going to get the flash, and now Zeka's joining here as well. Nice knockback from Perfect, and the buffer. He is doing whatever he can to survive against all 3 of them, as Zeka flashes and misses! First blood to Cuz in the top lane.
so well played by Perfect. I feel like every single thing he had to do had to be perfect for him to get out of that play, out of that situation. He committed onto Zeus, the claps came in, and it just felt like every single input, he did what he needed to do to survive. Super low HP, and even baits Zeka in. And Cuz is there to clean up, so a beautiful start for KT there. And Kanavi's not feeling good about this one, so looks for this play here onto Zeus, trying to find the angle for the kill. It's a little bit close to tower, so hard to get it. But he does get him low, and then when we see Kanavi come in, dodges a Flag and Drag, importantly, flashes the Cataclysm immediately, doesn't even take the damage from it, dodges that first Q, does get rid of here, but channels the W so the CC doesn't land. And then here even dodges this last one right at the end. I think just any little misplay, and he's dead. That really was perfect.
Yep. That was him. And now Zeka, no flash, and Perfect is back! He's like, I'm getting my revenge! Zeka just gonna walk it off though, so not much revenge there.
Oh, they're trying to rush this dragon now.
Yeah, a lot of damage comes in as the Temper Fate not gonna deny this dragon, but the binding is going to help out as Big Scatter on a 3! And now HLE are just on the run. Nothing they can do against BDD's Syndra. It's now Guma just kind of left to the wolves as that flash was kind of hilarious from
I don't think they get out.
Effort, and yeah, they just don't get away. Everybody is just dead. Even bluffing under the turret is like, man, I'm just trying to do my job here.
I think he's a little bit cooked. I don't think he makes it out here.
Yeah, and they give the kill to Jiu, and now Zeka comes in. And, okay, this looks like a bit of frustration from our Rise player. As the follow-up comes in, that's an extra kill given over to BDD, and this game is torn wide open.
Wow, 6-0 now for KT, and just everything possible goes wrong for HLE. They try and rush the dragon. They know that Rise isn't here. They don't want to fight. They want to get the dragon and get away. The setup, though, they get the Tempered Fate into the stun, and that Scatter the Weak from BDD is just so good. HLE and try and disengage, but as they move to the tower, BDD and Cuz move around to cut them off. Guma is just dead. He's isolated alone. And I don't think there's anything Zeus and Bluffing could have done. Once the situation got to this point, it was just doomed.
Yeah.
And the fact, I mean, okay, one thing they could have done, HLE, is Zeka could have not gone in here. Because,
yeah, this was not.
I think it's like they must have used everything, right? Well, not quite everything.
Even if they're just slapping him with the Xinjiao Spear, he still loses.
Yeah, so. But the fact they still had like Flash on BDD and ult on Cuz, there was still gas in the tank, and that is a massive influx of gold for KT. 3,000 gold lead nearly, and things feel a lot better for them in this game.
Yeah, I mean, for KT, at this current moment, the expectations are at an all-time low as they lost twice to D plus Kia, and nobody predicted them in this Saturday showdown. So it kind of makes sense that they're playing really well, and HLE are just maybe feeling the pressure of the expectations, which that's not normally what HLE do. They're pretty good at handling the pressure and playing well still, but so far, not their best game. As now Cuz is getting on in there, and he's going to have a lot of help from his buddies who do come over, but the Crescent Guard is down in the scatter! Gets Kanavi! As so many heals and shields come in, but Cuz is still alive! As finally he does go down, and now they're trying to just magical journey their way out of there. As maybe Cuz did bait his team into a bit of a wonky spot. Gio, no shift to get away, and a double kill comes in! As BDD and Gio dunk on them, but they are way too deep in this. And Perfect's not even going to TP into the play. As eventually BDD gets through the magical journey. And the follow-up is there. It's a shutdown for Guma. Tons of gold. As HLE are kind of just back in it.
Perfect does get some alone time in the top lane, but extra gold in the Cassante, not really worth that entire passage of play happening on the bot side. Cuz ends up overstepping here. He's super deep. There's, you know, they get the ult very early here, and then the rest of KT moving to try and save him. But he's so low already, and Kanavi not dying here, being able to get the Sundered Sky heal, getting, I believe that was the Echo's HLE heal as well, keeps him alive. And this angle from Gumayushi is so good, forcing the retreat, forcing them to kind of run into this awkward position. there is some mishaps. The double stun and the missed flag and drag from Knavi, not ideal. But there's just no way really to get out from this situation. Bluffing roots up BDD. And it's pretty close that BDD gets through the magical journey, but he's still...
Bluffing just dead in mid.
Well, I guess they called his bluff.
Yeah. Yeah. Bluffing... We've seen some new supports come in and play Karma and die a bunch. Career. Sorry, my guy, but this time it looks like Guma just stepped up to get the plate, and he flashed away, but Bluffing didn't have his. So.
Yeah, kind of got to blame Guma Yushi for that one, if I'm going to be honest. And it's a big cost, because you lose your AD carry's flash and Bluffing dies. That's going to cost you Herald. You do get that tower in the bot lane, but it's going to be matched in the top lane by BDD. So this game, still very close, still very back and forth, but KT getting the favor in that last play.
Yeah, this game definitely getting a bit more chaotic. We started off with no kills for a while, but now we have 12 in 16 minutes.
I think as well for the position HLE are in, they have 2 dragons already, which is great. But when you look at the item spikes, Gumayushi is on that Ghost Blade Rapid Fire, which isn't really that inspiring on a Jhin. Zeka has a long way to go before, Actualizer comes in. And fortunately, Jiwoo doesn't quite have the Mirror Mana, but I still think KT feel very confident about the power right now, so they'll move in and take this dragon. And I think it's actually the right call from HLE not to contest. I think you can wait for a better time later in the game. Don't feel like opted in when you already have 2 dragons now. Zeka does have to realm warp out here. Stun won't get there in time.
Well, we do have Cuz, though, continuing to chase, as it looks like he didn't spot him. Even if he does go in, I mean...
I think BDD was too far away at that point.
Yeah.
I think he'd gotten out already. Anything more would just kind of waste time. Maybe you get his flash, but I think letting BDD get the wave and moving back to help get control of the map more important.
Zeka's pretty far behind on farm, specifically. In fact, his jungler is even ahead of him at this point, which you don't see often in Pro. Just dying a bunch and spending a lot of time running around the map trying to get to places and then, dying when he gets there is just not going to help him.
Yeah, I also think with having a Jace top rather than a Cassante, the Jace is going to try and pick up more farm. We had that situation where BDD was pushing the top lane, taking all that farm, and on the other side it was Zeus who was picking up all that solo farm and the tower. Obviously Zeus is pretty even with Perfect right now, but Zeka has definitely suffered as a result of some of these lane assignments.
They're looking for Guma. He doesn't have flash. He's alone in mid, and that is just a free kill. He's just standing on the wave and felt safe, I guess, with his teammates nearby, but free kill when you're a Jhin without a flash.
This is really good from KT because you look at the fact that there's a Ryze and a Jace very comfortable in the side lanes getting this pressure. If you just let this happen and play out, you're not going to be in a good position.
I think Bluffing is dead. Yeah, the stun is going to come in. He is just assassinated under the turret. This push is continuing.
Yeah, this has just been really disrespectful from HLE. I mean, Guma dying, I think, was good from KT. And don't get me wrong, this play onto Bluffing was also good. But I think HLE just kind of disrespectful of the numbers there, the fact that Perfect was on the flank, the rocket belt set up from BDD, and now looking for Zeus.
I think he's dead too. I mean, they can just run him down. They're going to spot him going into the bush, and now going to zone him, I suppose. No stun comes through. And the knockup comes in. It doesn't look like he's going to try to TP away, especially with BDD on the way. So BDD picks up his 5th kill in this game, already making a huge impact on the Syndra.
It feels like a lot of greed from HLE in terms of pushing for towers, for plates, for CS. And KT have been so sharp at punishing that, finding these picks, finding these opportunities to challenge these isolated members. And it's just more and more gold funneling into KT's pocket. We obviously saw that mistake from them when they aggressed into the enemy jungle with Cuz and they got punished. But other than that, KT really had control of this game.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, as you said, they look very sharp. There haven't been a lot of mistakes. It's just been pretty solid play, not doing anything, insane or unseen before, just playing good League of Legends. As now it's Kanavi's turn to hide on Bush. Jiwoo is going to face check that, and now they're just trying to burst down the Ezreal, and he's dead too. I don't know what it is nowadays, but our Ezreals are dying in mid lane a lot more often than I think they should be.
They just feel like they're safe because they're playing Ezreal, and they'll just walk up and face check a brush, and it was so unnecessary, it was so unneeded, just to walk up like that. Like, there's ways you can ward that brush from a safe angle behind a wall.
Also, if you're kind of expecting it, the second the flag comes down, you can Arcane Shift away.
Yeah.
If you react on time.
Yeah,
So
this was just...
it's like he wasn't even thinking about that possibility.
Yeah, but also if you look at like this position where effort is, I mean, a bit further up, you can like ward from over the wall. You don't have to walk up in that really exposed position.
Yeah.
So just not great from Jiwoo there, and gives HLE a bit of space on the map. I think part of it was the mindset of BDD's here, so I'm safe. But he was clearly not safe.
Yeah, it's a pretty common thing that junglers often do, junglers that can get over walls, is just go straight into the mid lane brush and wait for people to face check, just like that. So, yeah, a good hide on bush from Kanavi, I suppose.
Well, Guma's going for last Whisper item third, so it might not be IE fifth item this game.
He actually did this last time out, so he's been pretty good about the Jhin builds.
Gets it
himself, even though a lot of our other Jhins have been going for the
yeah. He's like,
Storm
we're
Razor.
into a pretty strong Cassante. I do need armor pen.
Yeah. Looking for Zeka here. He has all of his sums, and Kanavi also there. Just going to poke him a little bit, not commit to the flag and drag.
Yeah, just gets a little bit of damage down. Dragon up in a few seconds here. We see TP's coming in mid lane from both top laners. KT are the ones who are there in the river already and clearing out some of this vision. Oh, Kanavi.
That's Kanavi in a bit of trouble. Just going to throw in an Unleashed Power, and now Kanavi is a bit low.
But you get the ult from Syndra. I think that's pretty weird because Bluffing soaked some with the shield, and now Zeka's on this great flank angle.
Zeka looking for the flank. They are going to deny Guma's ult pretty well as the smite does come down, and HLE don't really get an in as Zeka didn't have enough support from his team pushing while he was flanking, so he just kind of calls it off. And probably not feeling all too strong right now himself either.
Yeah, I mean, KT just very confident. Just rushed the dragon down, get it quickly, didn't give any time. And it felt like HLE were looking for the fight more than anything, but didn't see the angle, didn't see the window. And it's just a dragon picked up by KT, which is the end of the world for HLE, but not obviously what they wanted. LGR's now come in for Gumyushi, so he's going to be doing a lot of damage. Well, a lot more damage to these tankier members. There's already a good amount of armor on the top and jungle. But I still think there's more time for HLE to scale. We're looking at the Actualizer from Zeka, the IE from Gumyushi, so as long as they don't give the game away to KT...
Okay, they're going to look for BDD, though. He's in a lot of trouble as the flash is down, but now the rest of his team is coming in, and the double stun is there! And now Zeka is all alone. He is dead, too. And that's 2 kills. KT looking at the Baron.
That's what I was saying. As long as HLE don't give the game away to KT, well, this is going to be Baron.
Too powerful.
This is going to be Baron for KT right now. And I think Kanavi just saw an angle. He was like, hey, BD's out of position. What does feel kind of frustrating is that Zeka and Kanavi still had flash. If you're committing to that play, you could have committed the summoners to make it work. But I think they just had it in their heads that, oh, we win this. We have this in the bag.
Let's see.
Dodges a flag and drag.
Help. Come over here.
Whew. They're just both there in the stun. And, you know, maybe if Kanavi had, like... I think it's tough to say because the reinforcements are coming in for KT first. But I think if you're going on that for that play, you have to commit everything. You can't just kind of stand there and get stunned and beaten up on.
Yeah.
Or maybe just, you know, you could have just taken the flash and backed off. I think that was also an option. So, either way, HLE, overstep, KT punish, and now with Baron in hand, they're in a really comfortable position right now. BDD has been absolutely stellar on this Syndra so far this game.
Yeah, not too surprising. You know, Syndra back in the meta. BDD is definitely one of the guys you think of to play the Syndra. And he's really having a big game. And even more than just individual players, I feel like KT is just playing as a team. They all look like they're on the same page. There are many times in the voice comms at the end of games where Delight, who's not playing today, is like, guys, please listen to me. It feels like Delight's the one that's trying to make the comms and the voice calls, but like, sometimes they don't listen to him, but when he's not there, It doesn't look like anyone's listening to anyone.
I could just imagine Delight in the booth just yelling, guys, please!
Please!
What are we doing? Zeka is about to get his Rod of Ages level up, and even with that, he still won't catch up to BDD. He's also 3,000 gold down.
Yeah.
Normally we get the Rod of Ages level up into level 16, into Actualizer done. He is not hitting that timing. Guma in trouble.
Yeah, gonna get the flash out of the Jhin, and now an ult to come down is actually gonna only hit the enemy, so now Cuz is in a bit of trouble. They're going very deep for the kill, and just the Jarvan, they're taking a ton of damage here. As Perfect is at least frontlining, but now BDD trying to get away from this, as the stun is going to help out quite a lot, but now Zeka over the wall, looking for that kill. He does pick up one, but now he's going down to Cuz, as this is getting way more messy than it had to be, as now they're going all out on the Guma, who has that LDR. He's like, I swear I do damage, please! Let me kill you! It's not gonna happen as Zeus goes in, gets knocked up mid-jump, and Zeus still gonna get the kill, as Everett's like, maybe I get him. Stop!
The match continuity!
He's dead! Effort is alone! He picks up the last kill.
Wow. So, this was absolutely crazy. I still think this is very good, actually, for HLE, because there's a lot of shutdowns on display, but this was not clean, and this was not the outcome they'd hoped for. The initial engage comes in, but Guma gets away. And then this is just great setup for a Jingle. The Tempered Fate being down means it can't be cancelled. He's getting these good shots in. Although Perfect does a great job of blocking this last one that would have killed someone else. But then in this ensuing play, I think one of the problems is Zeka feels like I'm flashing in a 3, I can win this, but he misses that last ability. So BDD takes a bit longer to die. He gets stunned. Cuz cleans him up. Bluffing then dies. And look at this 4th shot into the dummy, which just doesn't do damage. And he has to reload. Oh, it's so sad playing Jhin. And that interrupt on the leap from Zeus was massive because it allowed Effort to kill him. The thing is, Shock Blast I don't think actually kills Effort here because he has the Celestial Opposition back up. And now, Dragon up and available. Almost every summoner down. There's 2 flashes across both teams.
I don't think HLE can really get in here. Zeka's trying to threaten on the left, but Perfect's frontlining. Now they're just going to engage onto the rise. Kanavi going in all by himself is just going to die. And now Zeka's in a lot of trouble too. The second the Jarvan goes down, they don't have a frontline, and now everybody's dying here, as they are going to have another scatter. Bluffing is dead. It is 3 kills for 0. And KT are in total control of this game.
Yeah, Zeus was trying to look for the wave to see if he could Shock Blast to get it away. But in the end, won't be able to find the angle. We saw Cuz hunting for Gumyushi, but they might just push for the end here. It's 2 carries up and available, but they are squishy. Good Shock Blast onto the wave.
And yeah, the Temper Fate would have been very good on the last fight as well if it were on the Jhin.
Zeus is saving the game right now.
Yeah, Zeus really is.
Can he save himself, though, is the question.
Yeah.
I think the answer might end up being no.
I don't think he can get out here. Unless he can somehow kill Cuz, who has GA.
Okay, he has to run Q to the minions. Oh, the interrupt!
Not gonna happen. And he is dead. I mean, trying to help, but it's not enough.
He will be back up a little bit before the Baron is, but we see this play coming out. They're trying to find a way to approach. Perfect has just been an absolute brick wall. Kanavi jumps in, but like...
He missed the flag.
Where is the follow-up also?
Yeah.
There's a, like, you can't Jingle to follow-up because there's a Xante in the way, and then they just chase them down. Zeus, though, this was such a good read, the angle to save the game. I think the game would have just been over otherwise, but it's still not a good spot for HLE.
Yeah.
Guma still doesn't have that IE.
Maybe you should have let the game end, actually. Like, you know, just forget about this one and go to the next one.
Yeah, maybe. Zeka still doesn't have Actualizer. These are big spikes. So level 16 hit. If they get Actualizer IE, that is their best odds for winning a fight. That does not mean they are favored, but at least getting those spikes would help. But it's 20 seconds until Baron. Do KT just start it up and look to rush it down? It is the Uni Baron, so it's a little dangerous. IE's actually come in. Can they get the Actualizer for Zeka before anything happens here?
It's kind of crazy that he still doesn't have it. Like, this is a 30-minute game. You'd expect 3 items on your rise.
Okay, he's got it.
Okay,
these are big spikes. Okay. Again, you're 6,000 gold down. I'm not saying they're in a good spot, but this is as good as it's kind of going to get in terms of the spikes you have. KT immediately start Baron. It is the big scatter. It is the Baron
so fed.
The Huni Baron that does the most damage, and they have big spikes. So HLE, it's now or never.
BDD kind of in the brush. They don't know about this. That is Kanavi going golden with the Tempered Fate. He's going to be stunned up by both stuns, but he does get in by the drag and just dies immediately, so not really going to amount to too much. Fourth shot into Perfect, just dashing away from that one. Effort going to survive as they can back away as a team and be safe.
Great whiff there from Perfect just to kind of ruin Kanavi's day. KT managed to get the Baron. HLE will clear out the waves, just trying to buy time until the jungler is back up. And KT in a pretty great spot. Nearly have that Cloud Soul as well, which I feel like Syndra as a champion who massively benefits just from that passive movement speed. See the replay here. This angle pushes him into the edge of the Cataclysm, then ults him in. And Kanavi was trying to flag and drag away, doesn't get the chance. Full shot doing more damage now. I mean, you should definitely starting to get some relevant damage, but it's still so tricky to have the time to dish it out before KT just run you down.
Yeah, and the wallet diff is real. I mean, he's on a big spike, but the enemy team is just so far ahead. You can only do so much. 8,000 gold, the lead for KT, as they are looking to push top lane and just throw Perfect into mid to kind of taxi the wave, put some more pressure on. And we're definitely looking at a couple of inhibitors to go down here in just a moment, unless HLE want to make a stand.
Ace is getting some big poking, to be honest. Ju's not too healthy. He's getting some health back, does have the Bard and that Endless Hunger. Now they're looking, though.
All right, they're going to try to go all in onto the jungler, as Cuz says, thank you very much, I'll take down your GA. That was great. Perfect is now in the front line. Zeka trying to do some damage. Big knockup from Kanavi, but the follow-up is not there. Is they're going to get the GA of Cuz. Perfect getting low himself. It's actually kind of a close fight here, as now the curtains come up and Effort's in a lot of trouble. He's going to go down. Big shutdown here for Guma, and now they have to back away.
Not as much as I would have hoped. Kanavi goes in with the GA now picked up. And honestly, he does his job, but it just takes so long to cut through the front line. They do eventually get Perfect low. The double armor pen from Guma and Zeus, both having their last respite and completed, does help. We see in this situation, Perfect, when he teleports in, they're like, how are we going to kill this quickly enough? Kanavi does get that 4-man knockup, which does buy a lot of time, helps a lot. And they get Perfect low, but he still doesn't die. And when they pop this general, you know HLE were like, please let us get like 3 kills from this. But even with hitting every single shot, it's only 1 picked up there by Guma. And now Cloud Soul for KT. That passive movement speed, going to make it harder to hit those skill shots and just easier for KT to run them down.
Yeah, I mean, this is insane amount of movement speed with the 4 Cloud Drakes. And I mean, the inhibitors open on the top side of the map. Still a lot of poke that can come in at this point with Jace and Jhin. So you do have to be careful, even with the lead you have. You can't just run straight at them, which is certainly dragging this game out.
Yep.
Giving HLE a chance, even though it is a very small one at this point.
They're trying to find the angles. BDD hasn't quite finished his Rabadons. Jiwoo is also sitting on components for an item.
Like, that's some big damage.
It's big damage. You know, you're starting to see the value of HLE's composition. The poke from the Jace not really being able to be matched. And engaging isn't actually that easy for KT. But unfortunately, they're 8,000 gold down, so these things would be a lot more relevant if they were even in gold. But KT, with such a tremendous lead, are making this game way, way harder to play. Now, Serelda's just get picked up for Jiwoo. I think BDD will have his Rabadon soon. And I was talking earlier about how HLE had the best opportunity for a fight when they were spiking. Well, KT, they're going to be hitting the big spikes. And the 8,000, nearly 9,000 gold ahead. So, considering there's Baron in 2 minutes, this is a pretty great spot to be in for KT.
I remember when we used to have tank junglers all the time, and we'd see Knight's Vow pretty early on sometimes, like 2nd or 3rd item. We actually have one on Perfect from the top lane, which you don't always see. But still a lot of damage on the side of HLE, and 2 very squishy carries in Syndra and Ezreal. Looks like they want to have 2 Knight's Vows for that. As Perfect hits level 20.
There's the Rabadons. Big for BDD. And, I mean, Zeka's got an Amp, so...
Yeah. What's he going to be building here? Maybe a Void Staff?
Seeker's Arm Guard makes a lot of sense. That Stasis come up really handy in this comp. And also, Kanavi's GA is coming up soon. It's tricky because Baron's up in a minute. Here's the Huni Baron, as we said earlier, but if you can't contest it, I think that's okay. If you go in, you lose GA, you lose summoners, and you don't contest the Baron, the game might just end, to be honest, but it does mean you're in a worse position for that Elder Dragon there. I mean, she finishes a very late Stormraiser, but now has that 100% crit. I mean, the Jhin, it's not quick, but you are doing damage to Cassandra now. The ult is a major threat once that Tempered Fate's down. But I think the thing is just if HLE can get the poke down and take their time, they're in a great spot. But KT just aren't letting them take their time, really. And they're kind of forcing things quickly in a lot of these plays.
Yeah. And, I mean, as we get later on in the game, Cuz getting blocked by the red buff. He does get the red buff, but, you know... Not sure if his life would have been worth the red buff. He's going to be totally fine, though.
He'll just heal up off the camps, and obviously Red has a sustain as well. They're getting really good control of this area. And HLE have to decide, can they even contest this?
Oh, they're going to find Zeus. He's in a bit of trouble as now the poke comes in. Kanavi just trying to go in and out to zone for the team. And he does do that. So a bit of poke on Zeus, but now we don't have Tempered Fate for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it's ticking pretty quickly in terms of cooldown, but it does free up Guma to set up with that ult. Yeah. Can they actually contest this Baron, though, is the question. Or are they just going to try and wait for Elder? They are trying to move with mid-prio, but BDD's in position.
That's a stun on Azeka, but they're not committing to a fight. They're just trying to zone them away, and there is the Baron. Just way too much damage at this point in the game. There's now even a bit of poke onto Zeus and bluffing. They're just kind of trying to back away from this one. Still 2 minutes until the Elder Drake does come in. It's now taxing the wave, but that cannon minion is very low. And so we do have some backs coming in. One back.
You see KT push in and looking to get both these inhibitors. It's going to keep HLE trapped in the base and make it very hard to contest Elder when it's up, but that's assuming they can hold on here.
Scatter's down, Binding is down, looking for BDD, as now the Tempered Fate is going to try to zone them away. Kanavi taking so much damage right now from Jiu, as the front lineup, Cuz is enough. Zeka gonna go golden, but we already have Kanavi down, and I think the gold lead is just a bit too much here for KT ROLSTER, as they are just gonna push straight down the middle and end this game number 1 in their favor. Nobody predicted them to win this series, but they'll start off